Guys, it's going down this weekend at UFC 293 with Adesanya stepping up to defend his title against Sean Strickland, and my partners at DraftKings are offering an incredible deal for all new customers who sign up using the promo code Sonnen. New customers, you can bet $5 on any of this weekend's fights, and you're going to receive $200 in bonus bets instantly. You can even use your bonus bets on DraftKings same fight parlays for a shot at an even bigger payout. Combine multiple bets together from the same fight, including number of rounds and method of victory. Remember, DraftKings is the only place where you can bet same fight parlays. If sports betting is not yet available in your state, don't worry. You can still join in all the fun with DraftKings Daily Fantasy. So click on the link below. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app right now. Use the promo code Sonnen and get in on all the fun. Eric is the head coach of Extreme Couture, but he is also quietly one of the most successful coaches in MMA. He might be the most successful active coach in MMA. If he can extend this, they have a conversation about the greatest coach ever. And he's one of these unsung heroes. But Eric Nicksick was quoted today because he told the media that Adesanya, and don't forget, Eric is the coach of Sean Strickland. He's the head corner man, head coach. And he stated to the media that for Sean, his student, Adesanya is a effing nightmare of a matchup. The media then tried to use that against Eric and against Strickland. In the vein of, even Sean's coach doesn't think he can win. Even Sean's coach admits Adesanya is better. Now, first off, those words were not spoken. But number two, they would have greatly missed the point. I loved that Eric did this. I loved it. When you're going into a fight, you've got to be very realistic with each other. You have to. That's what training camp is about. That's when you lay out the game plan and you lay out the strategy. You have to be very, very realistic. And for Sean, who is essentially, and he's an excellent kickboxer, but he's essentially a self-trained kickboxer. Like, I have known Sean from the beginning of his career, but I don't know who trained him. I don't know what gym he learned at. When I met him, he was at the Rain Training Center, but prior to he showed up 17-0 with a whole bunch of skills in the King of the Cage Championship. He's only 21 years old. I mean, in all fairness, he came from somewhere. But I've never seen anybody take the credit for it. I've never seen photos going around social media. I never hear Sean talk about the days, I was 8 years old and my dad dropped me off at the gym. I don't know anything about that. So you have a guy who's excellent at it, but he's self-trained. He's going to take on a guy that was 27-3 in professional kickboxing. Is that right? Was that Adesanya's record? I know I'm real close. And yeah, there's some problems with that. There's some real matchup problems. Who's a better fighter? That's not fully what this is about. Then how would you break that down? Who would you rather learn from? Who knows more? If you have a magic wand, your son's going to be a fighter. You give him this guy's skills or this guy's skills. Right? It starts to be a really hard conversation because when you match them up, those skills don't always come through. If you have a bad matchup and a bad plan, you got a guy with a longer reach and he's better in this area, right? Where you have common opponents and you've got mixed results. What Nicksick said was very true. Now, don't isolate and don't be misled by that line, particularly if you read it for clickbait. Because if you take it into context with the entire article, Coach Nicksick was laying out, this is a nightmare. We're going to have to change things. We don't expect Izzy to change them because he has the advantage. We have the disadvantage within this matchup, so we are the ones that are going to change things, and we need to make it dirty. I apologize. We need to make it ugly. And allow me to condescend, but if you don't know what that term means, and you might not, like if you didn't do this somewhere within your background, you might not know what it means when a coach says go out and make things ugly. But Adesanya fights a very beautiful style. It's very crisp and it's very clean. When it's time to scramble, he's scrambling. When it's time to set guys up, he's setting them up with rhythm, with dance moves. When it's time for the water break, he goes over the court. Like, he really isolates things into departments. When it's time to jab, followed by a cross, followed by a slip, kick to the head, like it's all by the numbers. It's a very beautiful style, and you have to be so elite to fight like that I could probably only name 5 guys in history, and I have to bring boxers into it to tell you 5 guys that can fight the way that Izzy fights, but it's clean and it's pretty. So what Coach is talking about is everywhere that would be illegal in kickboxing, everywhere that would be illegal in boxing but is allowed in MMA, that's what's considered ugly. Randy Couture showed us dirty boxing. It is illegal in boxing to grab a guy by the back of his neck and start punching him in the face. It's illegal because it's so wildly effective. Boxing matches would be over too quickly. We see this in wrestling. There's 2 different moves. One is called a gut wrench and one is called a leg lace. But if you find a gut wrench or you find a leg lace, the match is going to get ended. So they just made it illegal to do 2 in a row for a period of time. Over a period of time, wrestling found out it's better if the match gets ended, and they brought it back recently. But I'm sharing with you, when you start to have these different kinds of techniques that aren't allowed in a specific sport, that's where you want to look. They don't ban things because they're too dangerous. And I realize there is some of that. But they also don't ban things because they don't work. Sports will ban things, that work too well. If it works so well that it will impact the growth and the length of the sport, they make it illegal. Those things are the first thing you want to observe. You go to boxing class, you want to find out what are you not allowed to do in boxing? Well, the referee will step in and he'll break it if you guys ever get chest to chest. Okay, great. So if I'm fighting a boxer, get chest to chest, he won't know what to do there. He spent his whole life having a referee break him apart instead of having to get himself apart. That's the first thing of my clue that I need to do. I'm just sharing these things with you because this is what Coach Nixick is talking about, and he's completely correct. And the fact that he has revealed that to you makes it crystal clear that he has revealed that to his student. It ups their chances. Sean Strickland is currently, this is according to DraftKings, but that's who I go to. He is currently the biggest underdog that Izzy has ever faced. Or another way to say that, Izzy has never been a bigger favorite against any opponent except for Sean Strickland. And I like what Coach Eric said. If they go out and fight him like they've fought other guys, if you go and watch 5 Sean Strickland tapes and 5 Izzy tapes, yes, go bet on Izzy. This one seems pretty straightforward. It's just a bad matchup. Not necessarily a reflection on their skills. It's a bad matchup. That's true. But if Sean is to have a chance to pull an upset, and as calm as Sean is, as confident as Sean is, as much as Sean worked to get this fight because he knows there's an opportunity here, and then Sean comes out and he fights a style unlike those 5 fights that you saw, that's where the opportunity comes. That's where he can put Izzy in a spot that a fight turns out to be harder than Izzy thought it was going to be. And nothing causes an upset greater than when that happens. So for anybody that read that interview or read the clickbait or thought that Coach Nixick said something bad about his student, you didn't take it into context and you didn't understand it. The message is spot on.